Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari
Jasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari 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 Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tera Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare
हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्रस्त श्री श्रीमद् भगवान कृष्ण अभय चरणारविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रीला प्रभुपाद की ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय सामवेद भक्त वृंद की जय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Narayanam namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim sarasatim vyasam tato jayamudire nasta prayesu avadresu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama sloke bhaktir bhavate naistiki. So dear devotees, we will continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 3, Krishna is the source of all incarnation, text 42. Sato samsravayamasa Maharajam Parikshitam Prayopovistam Gangayam Paritam Paramarsivi Sato samsravayamasa Maharajam Parikshitam Prayopovistam Gangayam Paritam Paramarsivi. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace S.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki. Śukadeva Gosvāmī, the son of Vyasadeva, in his turn delivered the Bhagavatam to the great emperor Maharaj Parikshit, who sat surrounded by sages on the bank of the Ganges, awaiting death without taking food or drink. All transcendental messages are received properly in the chain of disciplic succession. This disciplic succession is called parampara. Unless, therefore, Bhagavatam or any other Vedic literature are received through parampara system, the reception of knowledge is not bona fide. Vyasadeva delivered the message to Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and from Śukadeva Gosvāmī, Sutta Gosvāmī received the message. One should therefore receive the message of Bhagavatam from Sutta Gosvāmī or from his representative and not from any other relevant interpreter. Emperor Parikshit received the information of his death in time, and he at once left his kingdom and family and sat down on the bank of Ganges to fast till death. All great sages, rishis, philosophers, mystics, etc. went there due to his imperial position. They offered many suggestions about his immediate duty. At last it was settled that he would hear from Śukadeva Gosvāmī about Lord Krishna. Thus the Bhagavatam was spoken to him. Sripada Shankaracharya, who preached Mayavada philosophy and stressed the impersonal feature of the Absolute, also recommended that one must take shelter at the lotus feet of Lord Sri Krishna, for there is no hope of gain from debating. Indirectly, Sripada Shankaracharya admitted that what he had preached in the flowery grammatical interpretation of Vedanta Sutra cannot help one at the time of death. At the critical hour of death, one must recite the name of Govinda. This is the recommendation of all great transcendentalists. Śukadeva Gosvāmī had long ago stated the same truth, that at the end one must remember Narayana. That is the essence of all spiritual activities. In pursuance of this eternal truth, Srimad Bhagavatam was heard by Emperor Parikshit. It was recited by able Śukadeva Gosvāmī, and both the speaker and the receiver of the message of Bhagavatam were duly delivered by the same medium. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschyatate Satarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Dear devotees, Sutta Gosvāmī was asked 6 questions. Now the question was, since Krishna has departed for the spiritual abode, where the religious principles have taken shelter of. That was the question, last question. And Sutta Gosvāmī probably could have said that Vedic literature, study vast Vedic literature, all religious principles are there. It's not a mistake, because Bhagavad Purana is also part of Vedic literature. He didn't go to any other literature, Brahma Sutra or Upanishad or Vishnu Purana. He talked about Bhagavad Purana. So this must be meditated. Like before Bhagavatam, we recite Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. What is a kunja? Kunja means it is a natural house built by creepers with fragrant flowers. So the creepers, they make a nice transcendental house. The question is, this creeper, we also see the creeper. So we have some experience of creeper. But the experience of this kunja made up of creeper, this is a transcendental kunja. This is a divine kunja. This is a divine creeper. In one creeper, one kind of forest, like nowadays you go to different natural scenic places. Why do you go there? Because you want to enjoy your senses. You want to feel good, right? Your senses must feel good. But in spiritual world, nobody thinks my senses should feel good. Everybody is anxious how Krishna's senses must feel good. Because if Krishna's senses are feeling good, then everybody's senses will be automatically satisfied. Rishikena Rishikesa Sevanam Bhakti Ruchya. So same kunja, one is divine kunja, that creates a divinely intoxicating ambience where everything there reminds me about Krishna, and everything there makes me to feel to be deluged in love for Krishna. So this kunja bihari, this kunja is full of love for Krishna. So naturally, when you happen to be in these kunjas, you like to water it such that the kunja, of course, these water are again divine water. Same water we are talking. Mundane water, divine water. And in mundane water, there are gradation. And like, for example, normal, this mineral water. This mineral water is absolutely, what is it called? Polluted water, mineral water. Okay, this is the sinful water. Then you can take water from a well, pond, river, that becomes better, better, better. Then water in Ganga, as far as this material world is concerned, water in Ganga is the best. So you see there is a gradation. But then when we are talking about transcendental water, there is also water in the spiritual world. But that's a divine water. That's a divine water. So there also you water this creeper, a divine creeper grows being watered. There is breeze, but that is divine breeze. There is sunlight, moonlight, but these are divine sunlight, divine moonlight. So again, these are all very difficult concepts for us to comprehend. Why? Because we are so strongly attached to our senses. That is why in Vedic tradition, we are always told, do fasting, Ekadasi fasting and Janmashtami, Ram Navami. Because by doing all these practices, we will become freed from attachment with the sense objects. Right? Nowadays, you tell people to do fast, it would appear that they are going to die. Right? But this is shocking, isn't it? And fasting has nothing to do with spirituality. It is necessary for spiritual life, but it has nothing to do with spirituality. Just because you fast means you will understand spirituality? No. But fasting is necessary in our sojourn of spirituality, because that is how we can test our connection to Krishna properly, established or not. Now here, what this verse is saying, here Sutta Goswami is saying that this Bhagavatam, which descended directly from the spiritual world, it was conceived within the heart of Vyasadeva. And Vyasadeva made this science, or imparted this science of Bhagavata, this divine knowledge, unto the heart of Brahman realized Śukadeva Goswāmī. And Śukadeva Goswāmī spoke this science to Maharaj Parikshit. We know this incident. Maharaj Parikshit is the grandson of Arjuna. Arjuna's son is Abhimanyu, and Abhimanyu's son is Maharaj Parikshit. You know that Abhimanyu is very celebrated and famous warrior. As of now, my first and very clearly the drama or the performance that I very distinctly remember is a drama that my village people, they performed when I was studying in 5th standard. That means before that, there may be so many things, but I don't remember any of them. But the one that I remember is Abhimanyu Vardha. Okay, and this, I remember when Abhimanyu Vardha was enacted by our village, my own uncle, Chacha, my father's brother, he was acting as Dronacharya. And I still remember that we took the mat, you see. You understand mat? Supper. In Odia we say supper. So we took the mat for all because ours is a big family, almost 40 people. So we carried all the mats and reserved the place, right? So that all our family members will come and sit there, right? So, and I'm sitting in the front, right? And when the scene, the curtain opened, I still remember they had made a beautiful half moon, bright moon, and Uttara and Abhimanyu are sitting on a jhula, right? Abhimanyu and Uttara sitting on a jhula, and just like Radha Krishna sitting on jhula, so Abhimanyu and Uttara sitting on a jhula. Can you imagine? This is there in my memory, very clear. It's fifth standard performance. And I remember they are having some discussion about the intoxicating atmosphere, full moon night, breeze, and blah 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 blah. But then, so Abhimanyu was killed. How was he killed? He was not killed heroically. He was killed in a very illegal manner. Okay? So this was those who killed Abhimanyu, they have been permanently condemned. They have been permanently and eternally condemned. Those who killed, and all of them were finally annihilated in the battle of Purushottam. Okay, Krishna has his own way. I was hearing someone was telling that when Abhimanyu came, because he has to go and fight, and so when he is taking blessings from everyone, everybody is saying Vijay Bhava, Vijay Bhava, Vijay Bhava. But it seems Krishna didn't say Vijay Bhava. He said Yasasya Bhava. Krishna said Yasasya Bhava. And that time I think someone from Pandava's family immediately realized Krishna has something. So Krishna is very, what he does, you have to just simply accept it. So obviously, Abhimanyu didn't become Vijay, but he became Yasasya. Okay, and his son is Maharaj Parikshit. And Maharaj Parikshit was personally protected by Krishna in the womb of Mother Uttara. Now you see that when I was my brother expired in 1994, Janmashtami day. Janmashtami we are celebrating, and celebration was over. Around 2 o'clock, I returned from Krishnan Sir's house. We had a very fabulous Janmashtami. And when I came and reached my room in Vindhyachal hostel, I saw one telegram latching onto my door. So I looked at it and said, my brother has expired. So next day, immediately I took a train and went. So during that time, when I was there with my parents, one of my parents' friend, he organized a talk in Bethanati High School. So there, when I met one headmaster headmaster of this Bethany school, he told me this story. In fact, I didn't know that time. So he told me why Parikshit was told why is Parikshit. So why was his name? Why was his name Parikshit? So Parikshit means who is continuously examining. What is examining? Who is Krishna, who is not Krishna? Because he has been protected by someone. So he is looking for who is that person. Is he or is he not? And this headmaster, he was a little humorous person. And he was telling that he was a small kid. And a kid, normally when you are born, you become captivated by Maya. You first get captivated by the breast milk of your own mother. It's so sweet, you get captivated by that. So like that, Maya attacks you from all directions and you get captivated. Right? But Parikshit is not captivated because his memory of being saved by Krishna is so profound that even after coming out of mother's womb, he is remembering that something transcendental that protected him. So, and the headmaster told that one day Krishna has visited Hastinapur. That time Mahabharata is over and Uttara has already given birth to Parikshit. And so Krishna regularly used to visit after Mahabharata from Dwaraka to Hastinapur. And Yudhishthira Maharaj was the emperor of the entire world. And when he was there, so everybody was sitting, and then Krishna was also sitting, and then there was a discussion. And of course, when Krishna is there, Krishna becomes the sanosier of all eyes. And that time, the ladies of Hastinapur, royal ladies of Hastinapur, they brought that small kid who was crawling, right? And left him in the middle of the assembly. It's a huge assembly. And this assembly, middle of the assembly, they put the small kid who's crawling. And Yudhishthira Maharaj started attracting him. Come. And I cannot really imitate this headmaster. He was really very good. He really imitated very nicely. How Yudhishthira Maharaj really poured his heart, please come. And he didn't look at him. Normally, every day, whenever they have sent it, he normally goes. So Bhima said, "Bade bhai, chup ho ja. Wo tumhara nahi hai, mera hai." Right? So then, Bhima started his own way. And Bhima is always Buddha number one. So he says, "No, I know, I have," because he's a big cook, right? He's a big cook. He is the best chef the world can ever can be boasting of. Actually, Bhima is the best chef. Nobody can become a better cook than Bhima. So Bhima is saying, I have nice rasagullas and whatever, but for a small kid, what is him rasagulla and rabdi and all those things? And anyhow, Bhima failed. He didn't look at it. And then Arjuna said, "बड़े भाई रुक जा, मेरा है ना, इसलिए मेरा पास आएगा, ठीक है ना?" So, and Arjuna started, and Arjuna is Kalakar. He's an extreme, he's an expert in all kind of music and instrument and everything, all kind of expertise that he has. So he sang a song, right? That would attract, just like nowadays you have this song, "Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, What I Am." And what is that?
How I wonder
How I am wonder
what you are.
what you are. So like that. So he must have composed some beautiful song to please his grandson, uh, Parikshit. And Parikshit even didn't look at. So once Arjuna flopped, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhima became very happy. They said, "At least we are saved. If we would have gone to Arjuna, then we would have been our prestige would have been completely destroyed. So we were saved by Krishna's mercy." So everybody called out, "Krishna, Krishna." Then Nakula Sahadeva said, okay, you three have flopped, we will be winning. They also flopped. So in the meantime, Maharaj Parikshit, again, crawled, and then looked at Krishna and saw, "This is Krishna? Is he? Ah, he is he." And he made so nice plan. Immediately entered into the lap of Krishna. Naturally, he entered into the lap of Krishna. And everybody was astonished. This is Maharaj Parikshit. And that very person who established Krishna consciousness throughout his kingdom, who rejoiced only in glorification of Krishna, who personally sat on the lap of Krishna and received his gracious smile, gracious kiss. He received everything that Krishna can give. Krishna, as a father and mother, has given all love that is necessary. Transcendental love showered upon Parikshit. And same Parikshit is being cursed. Yesterday somebody was telling, right, that why pure devotees, they go through the torture like, what is that person? Haridas Thakur, our great Haridas Thakur. He was beaten 22 marketplaces. And Haridas Thakur humbly accepted. It was a token punishment from Krishna because he has offended Krishna by hearing his blasphemy. So here you see Maharaj Parikshit was cursed. And that too, he was cursed not by a great sage. He was cursed by a Dijabandhu. Let me tell you, Krishna would never leave you in a destitute situation, orphaned situation. I'm going to further discuss on this. Can you play the kirtan? Yashamati Nanda. I'll take 2 minutes break. So, dear devotees, the great Parikshit Maharaj, who is a pure devotee, not only is a pure devotee, he is also trained in the science of Krishna consciousness. That very person was cursed by Srungi, the son of Samika. And he has accepted that curse and has resigned from his kingly affairs and has taken a vow of fasting from both food and drink for 7 days. And he was being surrounded by great sages. All these sages have come from different places, not only from this Bharatavarsha, from the higher planetary systems also. And he is asking this question that what he should do because he has been cursed. And so everybody is giving some opinion or not, but everybody actually knew that Śukadeva Maharaj is going to come there right time, and he is the right person to speak Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam is the best thing that one must hear when one is going to die. So we are all going to die. You, me, each one of us will die. We have died trillions of times, and we are going to die many, many trillion times if you do not hear Bhagavatam. So Bhagavatam is that nectar, transcendental nectar. If you constantly drink that nectar, then we will never suffer from death. What is this Bhagavatam is? Let me give some perspective to Bhagavatam today in a scientific way. I will take only 5 minutes, or because we will take some questions also. There are 4 things a human being does in a Vedic society. In Vedic society, when we are born, until 6 year old, until we are 5-6 year old, we are made to enjoy, just play and whatever we want to do, go ahead. No restriction. It's a childhood nourishment. Childhood nourishment. And then the children are sent to gurukula, where they are trained in the process of dharma. What is dharma? Dharma means truthful, never tell lie, follow honest method. And celibacy is taught as another pillar of dharma. Compassion is taught. One should not eat meat, fish again, anything non-vegetarian item. One is taught to remain austere, because in Gurukul, everybody is supposed to live in an austere atmosphere. In fact, human form of life must be, one must learn how to lead a human form of life with minimal need. Minimal need. So these are the things, dharma. So dharma must be inculcated in so the real teaching is dharma. So brahmachari life means dharma. Once you understand what is dharma, in gurukula itself, you can learn your occupational duty. If you are a Brahman, so those who are Brahminical, they stay back in Gurukul, they study further by studying other Shastras. And those who are not, those who are Vaishyas and Kshatriyas, they would come back, and in their house they are trained in business or in martial arts. So then they become grihasthas. So first is dharma, and as a grihastha, you have to earn artha. You earn. That means you start earning. Before that, you are depending on your parents, on the donation of king, and so forth. So dharma, then artha. And then once you earn, so because you have gone through dharma, whatever earning is there, you know how to utilize that earning in minimum kama. That means how you satisfy your senses, not repressing them, and plus invoke your Krishna consciousness. And then moksha. Moksha means when 50 you cross the age 50, you must leave everything and practice Krishna consciousness purely. So that is the Vedic system. Dharma, artha, kama, moksha. But Bhagavatam is beyond this world. Bhagavatam rejects dharma, artha, kama, moksha. Just try to understand this. That's why it says, dharma prajhita kaitavatra paramo nirmas saranam satam vedyam vastavam atra vastu sivadam tapatrayam mulanam Srimad Bhagavate Mahamuni Krute Kimba Paririshware Sadhya Hrudyava Rudhyate Atra Krutuvi Susrusubhi Tatkhanat. Dear devotees, just think about Bhagavatam. It says Dharma Projita Kaitavatra. So this Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, these are all cheating religion. This must be completely rejected, or is hereby rejected, because they are not very attractive to Paramo Nirmatsaranam Satam. Satam means devotees of Krishna. Nirmatsara, they are completely non-envious personality. So devotees of Krishna, they are absolutely non-envious, and hence they have nothing to do with Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So what is this Bhagavata then? Bhagavata means those who are always dwelling in Krishna consciousness. That is why it is said you need Krishna consciousness to understand Krishna consciousness. If you don't, you are not blessed with Krishna consciousness, you can never appreciate what is Krishna consciousness. This Krishna consciousness is that treasure. If I want to put a value on that treasure, and if I were to sell trillions of universes, then also I cannot purchase this treasure called Krishna consciousness. And I can give you guarantee that most of us, we don't understand this. To understand this is not an ordinary thing. So, Bhagavatam. Bhagavata is glorification of Krishna and his devotees. In the absolute divine platform. Glorification of Krishna and his devotees. That is all is Bhagavata. Anybody who would accept Bhagavata, he will reject everything of this material world. Muhuraho pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. Nigama means Veda. Kalpataru. Vedas are compared with Kalpataru. Kalpataru means who is fulfilling desired tree. Nigama kalpatarur galitam phalam. Phala. Phala means fruit. Galitam phala, ripened fruit. Ripened mango. Mango ripened. Just think about it. Many of you probably have started salivating now. Mango. Season to chala gaya. Ab kahan mango aayega? So, the most sweetened and ripened fruit of Vedic Kalpataru is Srimad Bhagavatam. Nigama Kalpatarur Galitam Phalam Sukhamukhat Amrita Drava Samhitam. Like suppose you have a guava. If guava is touched by the parrot, what happens? Have you tested such guava? It's very tasty. But this is amazing, isn't it? Have you ever thought about it? A fruit touched by parrot little bit becomes very sweet. Now, normally somebody eats something, what it should happen? It should become jhuta. And normally, it's, but if suka or parrot has touched a fruit, that fruit becomes highly sweetened and very tasty. Only nowadays, I don't know. We were born in a time when we plucked fruits and ate ourselves. We never knew that fruits are purchased in the supermarket or bazaar or haat. But anyway, so this is ripened fruit. Sukhamukhat. That ripened fruit is further touched by parrot. And in this case, this is being recited by Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Pibata Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. Now please drink the nectarian rasa or mellow of Bhagavata. That is continuously emanating from the lotus mouth of Śukadeva Gosvāmī. And then what it is saying? Muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavuka. Who can drink? Those who are rasika. Those who are not dwelling in this mundane thing. Those who are freed from lust, greed, anger, all nonsense that we talk about. Those who are free from that. Such people can only drink the Bhagavatam continuously. Okay? Today I was meditating. What is nature of transcendence, right? What is the first thing that we must experience? Nature of transcendence. Nature of transcendence means the first thing that you should be able to experience is no experience of past, present and future. That means you are eternally staying only in the present. Like, suppose when you become a devotee, what happens? After some time, you are for some time you are very happy, right? Whatever was told you did. But after some time, what you are thinking? अरे बहुत हो गया 664 हैं, ये तो इधर तो हमने सफोकेट हो गया और कहीं जाना पड़ेगा हैं। ये जो भागने का जो डिजीज, रनिंग अवे, this means I am going through the experience of past, present, future. First experience, wherever you are, it is not that you have to go to Himalaya top to remain Krishna conscious. Wherever you are, even if you are in a gutter, there you should be in absolute Krishna consciousness. That is the first sign of Krishna consciousness. You are releasing transcendence. Neither you are hankering something future, nor you are lamenting something that happened in the past. You are only residing in the present, practicing and chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. ठीक है? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Bapi Sarkar, sir, even recently science can prove that divine water has a crystal shape. No water is divine. No water is divine. Masaru Emoto, I am telling what Masaru Emoto did is not published actually. People can do, some research. All that this is showing that even the matter becomes more, matter attains mode of goodness. This is simply, it is not divine water. You can say water in mode of goodness, right? Siranjit Rai, if false ego is part of subtle body and it moves from one body to another carrying soul, then why people isn't egoistic at low as does ability to cook is part of 64 rasas. This Siranjit, every time he is asking question, this boy is very wonderful. I wish that this fellow will become next Prabhupada. So they yes, this small child, his body has not manifested. Just like when your body doesn't manifest when you don't attain puberty. Like normally when the boys and girls, they study 7th, 8th standard or above, they attain puberty. Attain puberty means they experience sexual desire. So it is not that sexual desire was not there before. Sexual desire is there in the subtle body, but it was not getting manifested into the gross body because gross body was not ripened. It has not become right. It has not come of right age. So similarly, when you are a small baby, the false, you can see false ego in a small baby. You give a toffee to the baby, and the baby becomes happy. And then you snatch away the toffee from the baby would cry. Okay, I said, this is my baby toffee. Why did you? How dare you to snatch this toffee from me? But the point is that these subtle manifestations, they manifest when body becomes matured, and in baby body or childhood body, the body is still growing. It has not manifested. So your question, cooking is part of rasa? Surely, cooking is first class part of rasa. So I would like everybody must know how to cook. Jai Sri Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha Bhagwan ki, Srila Giriraj Krishna ki, Sri Sri Radharaman Ji ki. So when you know cooking, you learn one item. Like yesterday, I saw one recipe on arvi. So I went immediately and made the arvi and offered to Lord Nrsimha. Yes, cooking is one of the very important limb of 64 rasa. Piyush Sehgal, in pursuance of this eternal truth, Srimad Bhagavatam was heard by Emperor Parikshit. It was recited by the able Śukadeva Gosvāmī. Both the speaker and receiver of the message were duly delivered by the same medium. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, in what context does it say that Śukadeva Gosvāmī was also delivered along with Maharaj Parikshit, given Śukadeva Gosvāmī's position as a perfect devotee, a participant of Krishna Lila? You have to realize that we are constantly being elevated in our divine consciousness. Every time we take a new birth in spiritual realm. So that's why you always feel fresh, because every moment you have a new realization, and that very new realization makes you feel you are again new. And next very moment you have another new realization, and you are again. Nava rasam dhavani udyantam rantum asit. Every moment you are releasing newer and newer rasa, and those rasa makes you constantly, just like Krishna is Nava Yavana, you also feel like that. So by speaking Bhagavatam, Śukadeva Gosvāmī is also getting more perfect. And there is nothing called this is it in spiritual realm. Next. How masters in Gurukula understand who is Brahmanical in nature? Masters were very capable. They could do it because masters were, once you are in mode of goodness, and they are trained, and they also, that by mantra, they could understand every person's, people earlier seeing, those Gurukul teachers, just seeing you can tell what is your journey. What was your previous birth. They could see everything like that. Anyway, these are all, now we saying of no use because we don't have those signs left now. It's all closed chapter. Next. Sometimes while doing fasting, our body is agitated because of lack of food and water. It disturbs our service. Mind also dwells on hunger and resultant weakness. So we continue to fast given its importance. Now, normally, when you are given a service, you must do this service and do that amount of fasting that will not disturb you or agitate you. But there are certain Ekadasi you must preserve, like Nirjala Ekadasi. You can also probably talk about Vaikuntha Ekadasi. So some Ekadasi you must make sure, Utthana Ekadasi. So some Ekadasi you must absolutely fast and don't do anything. And some year you say, okay, this year I'm going to fast always. So, okay, night. In Bhagavatam, mostly we hear about great souls who have a divine history or are specially graced. Are there the example of conditioned souls like us? We know already Narada was the son of a maid servant, and how he elevated to the current position of Devarsi Narada is well documented, and we know how Dhruva was conditioned and then how he became perfected. We know about Mrugari and how he perfected from. We know Jara, who is a hunter, got perfected, and Satyavati, who was a Matsya Gandha, and she became a pure devotee of Krishna, and so forth. Sir, if we not getting any question, what is the reason? Because you are sleeping. You are absolutely in mode of ignorance, my dear friend. If you are not getting any question, that means you are in absolute mode of ignorance. You are simply satisfied, eating. Of course, you are in Gurukul, so there is no mating and there is no defending. But you are doing other things, sleeping and eating, sleeping and eating, sleeping and eating. We used to tell, when in our village, I remember, my grandfather used to scold my chacha, my father's brother. His name was Narayana, and he will scold him, and he said that you get lost to mutt. तेरे लिए मठ में जाके तू खा और सो. Okay, so this is how people used to scold those who are planning to retire to mutt, right? Yeah, I think I should stop here.
One question.
Abhishek Panchal, a Jnana Yogi uses only analysis and mental speculation to understand absolute truth, or he studies scriptures too, or both? Yes, he studies scriptures, but he doesn't study the scriptures like Bhagavatam. He studies scriptures like Upanishad and Brahma Sutra, and where he can take, do sense gratification by speculating. Speculation is a very good way of sense gratification. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this a little later. Santosh is asking, one who engaged in unalloyed devotional service to Vasudeva, Krishna, automatically becomes aware of this material world. Therefore, he is naturally detached. This detachment is possible because of this high standard of knowledge. The speculative philosopher tries to understand that this material world is false by cultivating knowledge, but this understanding is automatically manifested in the person of a devotee without separate endeavor. In our day-to-day practice of Krishna consciousness, we also cultivate knowledge by studying Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. What exactly does cultivation of knowledge in above what means? Does that mean they don't refer to any transcendental literature like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam? They may read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita, but then they don't have bhakti. They have not got the special grace of Krishna. As I told in the beginning, you need Krishna consciousness to be able to understand what is Krishna consciousness. So that's what they don't have. So, Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jiva, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Rita. You need to find a pure devotee as your spiritual master. If you are not finding that, and you are following the parampara of impersonalism, then that is only, so it is all finally Guru Parampara. Which Guru Parampara you are connected? If you are connected to Guru Parampara, that is of pure devotion, then you are a devotee. But if you are connected to Guru Parampara of impersonalism, then you are another person. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Gaur Pramanande, Hari Hari Bo.